Welcome on in to the 411 podcast. What's going on? If you're out there, I want to say what's up. Thank you for supporting. The best way you can help is to please like, comment, share, tag your friends, invite them in to the 411. Again, I want to say thank you. We made it without any type of issues, without any type of drama. Today we are here, and I'm thankful for being here. And we're going to have a great show tonight. We have Hattie coming in from Creative Purpose Productions. But before we do that, of course, we got to get into the song of the day. So I was riding home and something said, just take it back to Miss Janet Jackson. I wanted to listen to something Janet. So I went to my favorite album, The Velvet Rope. I believe, in my personal opinion, it's one of the dopest albums that Janet Jackson has. I can listen to it from top to bottom, rewind it, reverse it, do it over again. I love each and every song off of this album. I don't think it's one that I don't like, but one of my favorite ones. It's hard to pick. She got a lot of ones that, get you to do this. There's a lot of them on this album. And Go Deep. Janet Jackson off of the Velvet Rope. That's what we do here on the 411 podcast. We go deep each and every night, and we go deep and we go deep and we go deep and we go deep. If you know the song, you understand, you know where I'm coming from. Song of the day, Janet Jackson, Go Deep. Interesting about this song is that I had no idea that there was a remix to this with Missy Elliott. I just came across that recently. But when I stack up the beat off of the original one versus the remix with Missy Elliott, very rare do I say I don't really like the remix. But to say, this is one of those songs when you make it, you really can't touch the original. Some artists don't do remixes for that reason because sometimes you just can't touch the original. I believe that this is it when it comes to this song here. All right, so I want to get into last night. Sunshine, Monet L. Please go ahead and watch that replay. Some powerful conversation. I was mind blown, kind of thrown back at the same time off of what I was hearing. And still to this day, I've realized that there are no mistakes. There are no coincidences. This was supposed to happen. Go ahead and watch that replay. Powerful sister sharing her story. And I can't even say much about it except check it out. It's stuff that I way beyond my level as far as comprehension at this moment. So check it out, understand where I'm coming from, and understand what I'm talking about. Very special thank you to my special guest last night, Sunshine Monet L. Also, a very special thank you to Mr. Alex Coquito, all the way from Puerto Rico. I am the co-host of his show, Midnight Vibes. Y'all go ahead and check us out on his YouTube channel, Alex Coquito. We have a good show coming up with him this Saturday too. So you definitely don't want to miss that. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Alex Coquito. Maria Kornacki, I just want to say thank you for supporting as much as you do. If you continue to keep doing what you're doing in general, as far as showing love, working on your craft, perfecting your craft, you're just open to so many different people. You keep doing what you're doing, you're definitely going to go straight to the top. And enough said with that. Just remember what I say. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're definitely going to go straight to the top. We Good Media Group. I want to say thank you for supporting Ro Wang all the way from South Korea. Feel so to hear and see you still out there. Thank you so much. Joanna Smith, please go ahead and support my friend. She has a podcast. Also, Farrell Higginbotham from Trenton, New Jersey. Tone, Ian West, my friend, Miss Desiree Covington, thank you so much for supporting and popping up whenever you can. And, of course, Miss SOS, thank you for coming through and showing some love. And I also really have to say Thank you so much to everybody out there on Facebook. So many people have come through and showed so much love and support. Too many to name, but I definitely want to say thank you so much out there for supporting. Let's go ahead and rewind this thing. So, how often do you dream about what you can have? And what actions have you put in place to make your dreams become your reality? I know that this is hard. A lot of us are dreamers. Some people have given up on their dreams because they feel that um, it just isn't the right time. They've been focusing on it so much. Nothing has ever happened at this point. Some people might have just been defeated and they have that spirit of nothing good is ever going to come to me or nothing good is ever going to happen to me because of the things that I have, been through in the past or where I'm currently at right now in, the situation. But I'm going to tell you, just watch that replay from yesterday. Realize how important your dreams are. If you don't know how important your dreams are, open up your eyes, start to look around and see there's so much information out there that tells you the truth about your dreams and you can go, what you can be, what you can do. We're going to talk about it all tonight. But how often do you dream about what you can have? You don't have it now, but what you can have. Are you limited? Have you limited yourself? What steps have you put in place to make your dreams become your reality? I am a prime example of my dreams becoming my reality. I remember in 2019, I kept thinking in my mind, I want to start a podcast. I want to start a podcast. Didn't know what the title would be, didn't know what I would speak about. Shy and nervous as I don't know what, based off of, just what I have been through and worried about what other people thought about me, worried about what, just the whole situation in general. And I just kept it in my mind. I'm going to do this one day. I'm going to do this one day and I'm going to do it one day and I'm going to do it one day. Same thing with, volume one, deliberation. I'm going to do it one day. And then I was like, all right, we're going to do the second book. And they were all dreams. They were all visions. They were all things that I just thought of. And I had no idea of how it was going to happen. But I didn't let that stop me. Just like so many of my dreams that I have now that I continue to keep dreaming and thinking big. In a minute that I stop myself from thinking big, because the old me would always shut it down and be like, nah, you can't do this. You can't do that. You don't have the funds for it. You don't have this to do it. You don't have the connections to do it. You don't have the means to do it. I would always be my own worst enemy. So whenever I start to dream big now, whenever that, side of me comes up that wants to shoot things down, the other side of me has to kick in and overpower everything and say, we've lived that for so many years. We've done that for so many years. We lived that life for so many years of being our own worst enemy, living in fear, living in doubt. I was just thinking so much today about how I've always been a leader. I've been put in a position to be a leader so many times, over and over and over again. Personal life, just being who I am, always a leader with the people around me, whether it's friends, whether it's family, always doing something different that nobody in my circle, nobody in my family would even think about doing. That right there makes me a leader. In my career path, I was leading so many people. I was blind, leading people blind because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I was learning as I was going along. That's what this thing is about. Trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. You keep doing it until you make it work. But I realized that, damn, I sat here and thought today, like, wow, even though that you were doing what you were doing, top of the game, killing it, I was leading people through fear. I was scared myself, scared of the power that I had, didn't know what the hell is happening. What is I'm making all this shit happen? So, but through that, because I was scared myself, wasn't really confident in who I was at the time, I started to lead people in fear. and that's no good. But anyway, as we continue to move off of that topic, we're going to get into turning all of that stuff around. Forget about the fear, forget about the doubt. Don't let all of that stuff come up and shake you up, take your dreams away, make you think differently. Don't let fear make you think differently. So, through that, there's a power of love, which is the opposite of fear. And with all of that comes from the healthier mindset. It's a 30-day transformational journey, which we're going to talk about, towards a healthier mindset. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. You have to fight your own inner demons. You got to fight your own inner self. One thing that I have to say is don't give up. It'll get so much easier, that much easier, when you continue to fight back, when you continue to bark back with self. When that negative, energy comes from within self, when you start to question yourself, when you start to doubt yourself, when you listen to what somebody says that has nothing to do with you because it's from the outside, and you know full well that anything from the outside cannot destroy you and cannot hurt you only if you let it. So whenever that, I'm not going to use the word, but whenever that stuff comes up, you have to kick in and you have to go against self and say, I'm going to defeat this. I'm going to conquer it. I'm going to destroy all of these stupid thoughts, weird thoughts, crazy thoughts. That's part of having a healthier mindset. The minute that it comes in and starts to try to trip you up and knock you off of your game, you got to come with something else and say, I got this. I know who my father is. And listen, confusion, fear, doubt, anger, all of that is not of God. I choose love today, and I love myself. So we're going to think differently. We're going to move differently. And it's the end. It's the end of it. As you continue to fight self day in and day out, trust and believe that it gets easier. Thoughts might come. It might linger around for a minute. Some of us might be real jacked up where those thoughts linger around for a few hours. If you were anything like me, those thoughts will linger around for days. But soon as you continue to keep doing your thing, focusing on the tools that you need to help you move towards a healthier mindset, those days will turn into hours. Those hours will turn into minutes, and those minutes will turn into a few small seconds. Trust and believe that those thoughts will never go away. They will always be there, especially if you have a history and you got a past, which we all do. You just got to learn how to go ahead and shake and move. And as quick as they come in, the quick that you go ahead and remove them. And how to conquer it and beat it for sure is to overpower self with positivity. That's it. What you put in is what you get out. That's all in the book. My Inspirations Volume 1.5 Deliberation, but we're going to go ahead and get my special guest on tonight, Miss Hattie, and see exactly what's going on in her neck of the woods. I want to say thank you all so much for joining in. Tag your friends.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the 411.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. So I would like to know, where are you calling from tonight?
I am in Orlando, Florida right now.
That's what's up. Shout out to Florida out there. How is everything out there? Did you make out well with that crazy weather that we had?
Yeah, because we're central Florida, it doesn't get too crazy. I know Hurricane Ian just passed over a couple weeks ago. We had like a couple of areas that were flooded, maybe power outages for like a couple of days. But I was blessed enough to not have any flooding or major damage. So
That's good. That's good.
I'm grateful for it.
Glad to hear a lot of people from Florida who tune into the Form 1 podcast. All of them are safe and nobody had any issues. So that's real good.
Yeah.
So, you always, or you just recently moved there?
No, I'm actually from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. I moved to Orlando summer of 2015. So I've been here for a minute, but
Okay.
I'm not from here.
Well, that's a big difference, Detroit to Florida. So, what made you make the move?
The weather was one reason,
Right.
and
I'll feel you on that.
I got tired of ice storms and having to go to work in 0 below weather. But yeah, so that was one major factor. But I have a arts nonprofit, and I kind of just felt like I got to a point where I'd done all I could do in Michigan, and decided I needed to kind of like move.
Yeah.
Where I felt like more like-minded people would be available and around. And I mean, Orlando is full of like a lot of talented people. I mean, you have Disney here, you have Universal here. I don't have a desire to go to LA, so that was not a choice. And Atlanta has the same type of cold, so I chose Orlando.
I love California. That's one of my favorite places.
I've never been, but I'd like to visit and explore. But I don't have the desire to live here.
Now, speaking of Disney, which I've seen it recently a couple times, and I think it's pretty sad. And it's just the way we live, the world we live in today. But have you seen the video that they have been posting of the character? I believe it's from The Incredibles that was walking out and tripped and fell in front of everybody.
No.
Well, apparently this character was walking out and tripped and fell, and a mask came off in front of all of the kids. And people just keep reposting that video over and over and over again. And I'm thinking about the kids that are innocent and don't know. And they just watched and saw that
right.
mask came off. But people were just cracking up, posting stuff over and over again about this person that fell, tripped, and fell. So I don't know, just what the world is about today.
Yeah, technology is something else, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. All right. So let's get to the Mad Hand Creative Purpose Productions. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah. So Creative Purpose Productions is a nonprofit, an arts nonprofit. We organize and host free creative workshops with at-risk youth in the Central Florida area. We facilitate dance therapy workshops, spoken word workshops, music therapy, and just kind of focus on, thinking together the arts and mental health. It's a platform we feel like that gives the youth an opportunity to express themselves, especially at risk youth in the inner cities. It's nice to be able to give them a place where they can go so that they can channel that energy into something positive and something that surrounds their mental health, the things that they're going through, just teaching them the skills it takes to kind of do that through dance, through music, through art even. And we it's free. We offer internships for the youth, and I collaborate with and partner with different artists in the community to help host those workshops. And we just want to be a light for the youth that are having hard times, and just letting them know that someone's there, and this is a space where you can be vulnerable and free.
Mm-hmm.
Even if there is art is something that they like to go into, it's still a way to express themselves, and the skills are transferable. Everyone's creative in their own right. It doesn't have to be in entertainment, and it gives you teaches them life skills, teaches them how to handle life, and when things happen that they can't control, just learning how to control you handle things, and taking care of your well-being and self-care. So and we have a production as well that I produce and am the creative director of, called Freedom Live, and it's a collaborative theater style production where we tell a story, about various issues that are relatable, that are going on in society today, and just kind of express ourselves, touching on different topics. And we do it through poetry, music, and dance, and it kind of just all flows together. And so that show, actually, the proceeds from that show, I have it every year in the fall, and it helps fund those free workshops that we organize and help facilitate.
I like that. I love, for example, I love plays that tell a story and you walk away getting a message behind it. So I think that that's amazing that you have, created something like that to be able to tell a story and leave people with something when they go home or they're walking out, they get in a car, they're thinking about, that message that was planted in them. Now,
Yeah, exactly.
I want to back things up a bit because I want to make sure that people are real clear. Um, you said at risk youth. Can you give us some examples of what makes someone at risk?
Well, the workshops are, open and available to any of the in the Central Florida area, but we kind of focus on at-risk youth, and this would include kids in the foster system, kids who, may not have a home or somewhere to go, who are homeless, kids who may live in single, parent households, um, kids who, just that kind of just sums it up. We work with foster kids, kids who are homeless, kids who, don't have, anywhere to go. We kind of focus on them, uh, and try to, provide them with, the resources that they need, and, just allowing them to have somewhere to express themselves and have, a platform, a voice to feel like they're being heard, and just giving them a chance to, get out of the world that they're in and know that there's more, and that, they're capable of, seeing more and doing more. So when we say at-risk youth, that's generally what we're referring to.
Now, what inspired you to want to create this?
My life experiences plays a huge role in it. Just going through life, and different phases of life after growing up with parents who were addicted to drugs themselves. I grew up with parents who had struggled with addiction, and I just was naturally gifted when it comes to like singing and dancing. And really, to be honest, I use those outlets of expression to kind of, get me through like moments that, most people wouldn't want to like talk about or think about. That was my way of coping.
Mm-hmm.
And never really, had anyone pay attention to that and, put me into, like courses or whatnot. I mean, growing up with parents who are struggling with addiction is not like we have the money. And so for me, I just kind of I knew that at a certain point in my like mid-20s, I wanted to use my gift for a purpose. I didn't want to just sing just to sing. I didn't want to just dance just to dance. And I created creative purpose to help like bridge the gap. I want to be somebody who makes a positive impact and help bridge that gap when it comes to the youth and even, adults that may need a space to process things and, just learning how to express themselves in different ways that, allows them to make sure that they're taking care of their mental health. As far as like the vision of how I was going to do that, I actually had a dream about it. And I've been going ever since I had that dream.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
because I was talking about dreams. So interesting. Speaking of dreams, just like I said, I spoke about, your dreams and thinking big, whether it's daydreaming, whether you have something that comes to you at night. Sometimes that's the best information that you get when you are sound asleep. And I know a lot of people who keep pens and paper by their bedside, that the minute that they get something, they get up and they write it. I mean, there's been times where you can go through something and you get up in the middle of the night and it's just on you so much that you don't even go back to sleep because you just got to write. You got to, think about it, put it in motion. I don't care what time in the morning it is. When something comes to you and you know that that's it. And sometimes if you don't listen, it'll come back the next night, then the next night, and that's when you know you really got something. You need to work with it. Miss Bethany, how you doing out there? So you mentioned mental health awareness several times in the conversation that we've had so far tonight. So one can only ask, because I hear that you're passionate about it, are you open and honest about some of your own situations that you've been through?
Oh yeah, I'm very open about it. Very transparent about it. I mean, to be honest with you, I think about, just the things that I've been through and the phases of life that I've gone through, and just I understand that it's nothing but the grace of God that I'm here, and there's a reason for me being here. And so, if I can, share my story and, help someone, get a foundation or plant their feet in a way where it's healthy for them to, understand how to grow out of situations or deal with different situations, then I feel like I've done, what I'm supposed to do. And I can't do that if I'm not open to sharing, my story and sharing my experiences. So yeah, I'm very open about it. I mean, growing up with parents who struggle with addiction, you can imagine. There's a lot of things that you encounter and that you go through. I had to grow up fast. Didn't necessarily want to, but just dealing with trauma. You have parents who are addicted to, to drugs, and you're left in situations that are out of your control that you didn't ask to be in. And so there's a lot of trauma that comes along with that, and you have to understand, or it's nice to have someone there to be able to help you to process that. I mean, especially when it's something you grew up in, like I grew in, like I was born into it. So dealing with all of that, I had to do the work. had to do the work to heal. I had to do the work to deal with the things that happened to me. I had to do the work when it came to, you know, fully understanding certain aspects of that, and you know how to be a better me and what it was I wanted, and I had to do the work. So I'm very open to, you know, discussing my experiences with people. I don't shy away from it at all. I think it helps. I think it makes it more impactful when you're able to say, "Listen, I understand what it is you're going through." Because you actually do, especially when you're dealing with at-risk youth. Like I was there where you were. I can tell you that, and look at me now. So
Absolutely. I will tell you that I was always concerned about what somebody would think about me. So I was very reluctant to open up and share my story. But what actually made me open up and share my story was my enemies. I developed a bunch of enemies once I decided to stand up and take responsibility for my life. And when I did that, people decided to point the finger and make a mockery, make jokes about mental health. And that's when I said, absolutely not, unacceptable. I'm tired of black people always shoving something under the rug, pretending that it doesn't exist in our community. And that's why most of us are fucked up in the head the way it is now, because you have grown adults not coming to the realization that somebody might need some help. So I will always be an advocate of mental health here on the 411 podcast, Reading Between the Lines, in everyday life, because growing up, I don't know what was going on Instagram, but don't be cutting up. But growing up, I just found it very difficult that our community provides very little to no support. And to find grown people in my age bracket still, because it's fine when you're the generation before you, when they don't know any better. You have to do your job. You have to put in your work. You got to learn so that you can do better, so that you don't fall into the same traps of what happened before you. But, you know, you can't control the people and you can't control the circumstances. But that is one of the main reasons why I continue to push forward. And once I started to do that, I started to open up and see that there is a huge community, not big enough, but there's a huge community, obviously bigger than I am, that actually supports and speaks and talks about it. So I'm always there. I'm always going to support. So for people out there, it's very important for me to continue to push content out that will be of service to somebody else, to help people, to let them know, listen, you can get through it. I've been there. I was told that because I wanted to be a podcaster, because I wanted to speak my truth, because I wanted to break free and just be myself, wear what I want to wear, dress how I want to dress, hang around who I want to hang around, that was called depression. So go figure. When you decide to stand up and take responsibility for yourself, the people around you that don't like you, that don't want you to do that because they want you to stay stuck, now they want to go and put something on you as if it's a death sentence and say, you're depressed. I was more depressed when I was with you. But I think I'm doing a pretty good job by myself, considering, since 2020 to where we are here today. So it is what it is. You can call me what you want to call me.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. One of the reasons why I put together this Freedom Live show and named it, I intentionally named it Freedom because the show we want to pour into the audience. So we want to leave you inspired, and it makes you think about, you know, being free in who you are and what that means, what that looks like. And it means asking yourself the tough questions when, you know, things come up and things happen. So in being free in who you are, you can't really be concerned about what people think about you or how it looks to other people. Just be comfortable in your skin being you, because you're not going to be able to please everyone and everybody. Don't make that your problem, you know?
I spoke about I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I spoke about Janet Jackson's album, The Velvet Rope. And as I was riding home today, I was like, I need to figure out which song I'm going to pick from the album. And I was listening to her song called You. I strongly encourage each and every one of y'all to listen to the song off of the Velvet Rope album. But basically, she says that at the end of the day, you can't blame anybody but you. So you're sitting here running around trying to, and I'm summing this up, of course, the song didn't say this, but you're sitting here running around trying to live a life of what somebody else wants you to have, putting on all of this stuff on yourself. At the end of the day, you have nobody to blame but you. And I had to sit and think and say, absolutely right, because I couldn't be my creative self. Being the creative being that you are, sometimes that requires you to put yourself in different situations. But I put myself in a situation where I couldn't be creative. I put myself in a situation where I had to, you know, succumb to somebody else's lifestyle. Some of us take on positions that we think we want. I've been there before, because you saw somebody else have it, or you get caught up in the society of, well, I got to have what everybody else has, so I got to do what everybody else do, and I got to drive what everybody else drive. All of that comes with extra stress. All of that comes with extra work. And sometimes people can't handle it, and then that's when you become depressed. So let's keep it real when it talks about being depressed and what is and what's not. Trust and believe that you have nobody to blame but you. And I know that that sounds rough to some people who are struggling and they don't understand. When I say you have nobody to blame but you, it's your circumstances, it's where you're at, it's your surroundings. Some people are not healthy enough to be able to understand this, but you can fix it and you can change it. So there needs to be support groups, there needs to be systems for people who are not healthy enough, who are not strong enough at that moment to understand. And that's what these things, such as Creative Purpose Productions and the, you know, workshops that you have to help bring people up to a point. It's no different than somebody being on drugs, somebody being an addict, somebody being an alcoholic. There's systems that have to be pushed up, and we got to push you up and push you up and lift you up until you're able to fly and move on your own. People just don't understand it.
No, I agree with that. It's like they say, it takes a village to raise kids. It takes a village when it comes to support as far as navigating this life as an adult as well. And then you also have to make sure that you're doing your part as well.
Yeah. Miss Leah Abraham, I don't know if you're still out there all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you so much. You said, hey, Pharaoh. Yes, we are here. I'm so thankful to still be here. We have Hattie from Creative Purpose Productions. So before we go ahead and move on, I sit here and I think about when we were supposed to do this a couple months ago and it didn't happen. And
yeah.
Like I said, there are no mistakes, there are no coincidences. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I know you had something happen that was I'm trying to think of the right word. Something that, you know, you didn't want to happen. Unfortunately, that's life, and sometimes that happens. But I am a firm, true believer of that God works in mysterious ways. And I had no idea, you know, the energy that you were going to bring, the message that you were going to bring tonight. And I needed you to come on here tonight. I needed you to be here at this moment with the things that I have going on in my personal world today. Because, you know, we all got stuff going on. I don't care if I'm sitting here podcasting time after time, night after night, day after day. I still go through things, just like everybody else.
Mhm.
So I truly believe that it was aligned purposely for whatever happened during that time frame to make sure that you are here tonight delivering the message that you're delivering tonight. And I just want to say thank you so much because what a true inspiration that you are to me tonight.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me and allowing me to reschedule.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thank so many people they come through, and I'm not gonna lie. Some people play games. They try to use the 411 podcast or reading between the lines as free advertisement, and it is what it is. Um, I've had that happen more times than what I wish. So I never know who I'm gonna deal with. But when you came back and you were like, "Can we do this thing again?" That's how I knew you were real. So y'all, please go ahead and support Hattie from Creative Purpose Productions. This is the truth here. So, can you please let everyone know how they can support you, where they can follow you at on your social media platforms and any websites that you have?
Yeah, we are. You can find us on Instagram, Creative Productions, and that's Productions with a Z at the end. We're on Facebook, Creative Purpose Productions on Facebook, and our website is experiencepurpose.company. My name is Patty Inez, and that's my name across all social platforms. You can follow us. You can find out how to help sponsor artists for our show or help, with our Freedom Show. And you can also follow us and, be in the know when it comes to the workshops and the internship opportunities and resources that we have going on.
Hmm. I'm just in deep thought tonight. Such deep thought. This was a great message and a great conversation that we are having tonight. And now it is time for us to get into burning questions. And even this burning question is just going to open up a door and take us to a whole nother level. Burning questions segment of the show where I flip it and I put my guest in a hot seat. And tonight, I have a question. Question that I have is, how has being nice versus being nasty to someone has worked in your favor?
So when you told me that that was the burning question, I got to thinking about it. It's just like my experiences, and I would just say, I would just say, in anything you do, be pleasant. In anything you do, have integrity. Because having integrity and being pleasant can get you into rooms and spaces that just having talent can't get you into. If your, reputation and first impression with people, you seem to be someone who can't, communicate effectively or, aren't a team player or can't work well with others, then it kind of makes your life a little harder than it should be. Now, I will say, because I don't particularly, I don't think I like the word nice. Because I feel like, some people can be, too nice, too passive. And you don't want to be that way. So my advice would just be pleasant in anything you do. And that doesn't mean that you allow people to walk over you or you allow people to do anything to you, because there's a way to address those types of situations as well and still be pleasant and keep that integrity about yourself. And so it never does anyone good to, have evil ways or evil intentions, people the way you would want to be treated, have that respect for someone else. And even if you have to have a hard conversation with someone, still respecting that person as you have that conversation, it can go a long way. It definitely brings about blessings. And that expression, you reap what you sow. Be careful of what you're sowing.
Amen. Amen to that.
So,
I truly believe in the karmic law. So you reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. Trust and believe. And a lot of people don't understand that what goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. They think just because it didn't show up and it didn't smack them immediately that they're all good. I will tell you,
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis for me, when how being nice versus being nasty to someone has worked in my favor, it actually allows me to have a better day on a day-to-day basis, because I used to be very nasty, very, to the point where when you looked at me and you looked at my face, because I had such a mean mug on my face, nobody ever said anything to me. People would run away from me. Um, Nowadays, people stop me wherever I go, and they always have such the nicest comments to say about me. A lot of people are like, I swear that I've seen you before. And I'm like, has it been the 411 podcast or has it been Reading Between the Lines? And surprisingly enough, they have not seen me on the 411 podcast or Reading Between the Lines. That opens up a conversation for me to speak to them about. But I can't tell you how many times I go somewhere and people stop me and want to engage in a conversation and say, I swear that I know you from somewhere. This never happened before in the past. So I get so many compliments as far as the things that I wear and, you know, the way I smell, all types of stuff. So never had that before, because I never allowed that type of energy to connect with me. I was on a lower level, living in a lower world, having a very nasty and disturbed attitude and terrible mindset. So that's how being nice to myself instead of being nasty to myself and nasty to everybody else has actually helped,
Right.
and worked in my favor.
Yeah.
That's that whole mental thing, and that's kicking that depression and trying to defeat all of that and, moving on a different level. Anger, attitudes, being disrespectful. Now you want to talk about somebody being depressed. There you go.
Yeah, and I think it's good that you brought up the fact that being nice to yourself. I think it's really important. A lot of people tend to have mercy for others, and they don't have mercy and grace for themselves. And have mercy and grace for yourself. Make sure that your cup is full.
Absolutely.
And that way you can approach the world, in a different light, in a different space.
Oof, 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 oof. What an experience this was here tonight. I'm not even going to get into what it took to get here tonight, but I'm so thankful that this happened just the way that it did. And I want to say thank you so much, and I definitely would love to have you come back on, in the near future, please.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Thank you.
So before we get out of here, go ahead and let us know one more time what you want to let us know. And we'll take it from there.
All right. Well, I gotta plug it. So you can find us on Instagram at Creative Productions, and that's Productions with a Z at the end. Facebook, Creative Purpose Productions, and our website is experiencepurpose.company. We do have our Freedom Live show taking place this month. Those of you who are in Florida, Orlando, Central Florida area, come out and see this amazing show. It's full of amazing artists that are very active in the community. It's going to be at the Dr. Phillips Center, and on October 30th, you can go to their website to get tickets. But yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Hattie, for coming on. I appreciate you, and definitely will be in touch.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You have a great experience.
You too. Take care now.
See you too. Bye.
All right. Wow. I'm just so blown back by this whole conversation and this whole thing tonight. I continue to keep getting blessed time and time again by people like Hattie from Creative Purpose Productions to continue to come on the 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wine shows to help deliver a message to each and every person out there who is willing to receive. So blown back by this all. Wow. If you would like to support the 401 podcast and Reading Between the Wines, please go ahead and click that link above all of my social media platforms. I spoke about it right at the top of the show and continued to speak about it. And I told y'all that we were going to go through this. I had no idea how it was going to happen. That's part of it. Walking by faith. We have no idea how this thing's going to happen. We just have to believe it and know it and understand and know who our creator is and just keep on flowing with it. Volume 1.5 Deliberation Remix Journal, a 30-day transformational journey towards a healthier mindset. I was just giving y'all a little bit about my past, sharing where I'm at in this present moment. Y'all can see it live here every night. But just because I'm here in this space, one thing that I fight against each and every day is complacency. I don't want to be complacent. I don't want to stay stuck because I've been stuck for so many years. So because of that, talked about thinking big, dreaming big. I have to. And that's what I'm doing by giving you Volume 1.5 Deliberation Remix Journal. It's a 30-day transformational journey towards a healthier mindset. And I open it up for you to start to do the same thing. The things that I'm dreaming about, the things that I'm writing about, some of them haven't even showed up yet. But because I wrote it down, because I'm thinking about it, and because I'm putting the actions in by thinking positive, never up, fighting right, doing it, I know that it's going to become reality. And you have to think the same way. I mean, you don't have to, but I strongly suggest you to think this way because I told you I've thought negative in the past and it didn't help me out. Now, if you want to think negative and you want to go there, by all means, everybody has their own journey and they have their own walk. I'm just giving you some help, giving you some advice. You can take it or leave it. You can hate it or love it. It's all up to you how you want to make it work out. I want to say thank you all for showing up tonight on so many different areas, wherever you come from tonight. Anybody watching a replay, whenever you come across it, I definitely want to say thank you so much. Drop it in the comments. Let me know where you are calling from, where you're coming from. I continue to connect with new people time and time again. And again, thinking big, dreaming big. I'm still dreaming. This is just, could not even imagine still being here time after time, still doing this, still getting the reception, still getting the response. And we just getting started. That's the illest thing about it, is that we just getting started. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here tonight. Again, thank you so much. Take care. Have a good night. I'll see you when I see you. Thank you. Good night.